All right, Grandmaster Hallowed Lair is here, and as expected, it's pretty brutal and really tests your build crafting and on-the-fly thinking. I actually love this one, even if it took us a couple hours to get that first clear. Apologize for using the stream VOD for this. I don't usually make these guides, and I didn't have any runs saved locally, but I want to get this out as fast as possible to help folks get this one done, because it is a tough one. First things first, your builds. Of course, we found fusions incredibly strong as expected this season. Generally, for this strike, you'll want bows with a vorpal or explosive head to handle overloads, rapid fire fusions or plug 1 for your special, and 1k voices for your heavy. We found it really helpful to have a divinity with an unstoppable pulse rifle as well, not required, but really nice. Aegir's Scepter on a stasis subclass is also incredible for this strike. With a horde, it's also a really strong option, as are blinding nade GLs like Truth Teller Empty Vessel. Threaded Needle, Rage Regret, or an LMG are also really good heavy options. You're only dealing with 2 shields in the strike, 1 arc and 1 solar, and match game barely applies to the boss's shields, so don't fret too much over your elements. There are a lot of really good options for subclasses for the strike, but personally we had the most success with Triple Warlock. We ran 2 Shadebinders, both with Bleakwatcher turrets and Glacial Harvest, combined with Elemental Shards, Power Preservation, and Resonant Siphon. These allowed us to shut down entire rooms very quickly and easily with turrets. Of course, you still gotta watch out for the mini screebs. They can easily kill you in your super if you're not careful, and they don't freeze. They are not enemies, they're objects. Alongside these, we ran a Chaos Reach Warlock. The Shadebinders were creating so many orbs that we just constantly had a Chaos Reach ready to go when we needed it. Really not much to explain here, just slap on Geomags. For other classes, you can definitely make Revenant Hunters work as a Shadebinder replacement, or an Omnioculus Smoke Hunter for clutch plays and safe skips. Titans kind of left in the dust on this one. We personally didn't find Banner Shield all that useful here, surprisingly. I know some teams have made it work, but ours were just getting torn down because of the resilience change. Bottom Tree Solar can definitely work for clearing ads fast with sunspots, and we actually made Behemoth work really well. I honestly have to do a separate video on this because a friend of mine made a nutty build that demolished the strike for us. Finally, one last little tip for armor mods. Typically, you wanted to slap on Concussive Dampener or 2, maybe a Sniper Resist, and call it a day. Not against Scorn Snipers. Even with 50 Resilience and a Sniper Resist, we were still getting one shot. That is not the case with Vandals and such. The answer here is 50 Resilience, a Sniper Resist, and a Void Resist. This also helps a bit against grenades, though not as much as a Concussive Dampener would, but it is worth it in the end. You will tank these shots. The first actual encounter of the strike is the tank room. For starters, pop a super and clear the room the best you can when you first get there. Use stasis to keep the champions frozen, kill the snipers on the left and right, and then just burn down the champs. Now you want to activate the plate, but don't just go for it. If you get it off the plate just before it hits the bottom, you'll spawn the first ad wave, but not the tank. Use the back of the room and the right side hut for cover, quickly clear out the ads, use a super if you need to, and especially focus the snipers. Finally, take down the unstoppable champions, regroup on the left side of the arena, and burn down the tank. You really want to one phase this, use everything you've got, otherwise you've got to do all of it again, and that's not going to be easy. Skipping ahead to the second encounter, more plates. Clear the room before doing anything. The entry stairs will be your safe spot here. Have one person get the plate, another ready to pop a super for the ad wave, and a third on the stairs picking off ads and playing safe. After the super runs out and the plate is capped, everybody should regroup to the entrance. Keep stunning the overloads to keep Resonant Siphon going, throw some turrets out, but don't really worry about killing them until very last. Kill everything else first. Repeat the process for the second plate. Someone stands at the plate, someone else pops a super to clear the room, and someone else stays back and plays safe, and then you all regroup. If you need to be conservative with ammo for the Abomination, take it slow, you're pretty safe back here. Otherwise, just burn them down as quickly as you can. Enemy spawns here are tied to the mini boss's health, but it's really not that big a deal. As always, just kill all the ads first, then prioritize the mini boss, and then get the champions last. The bridge up ahead can be a little rough, but just follow the same steps you've been doing so far and you'll be fine. Keep the unstoppable stunned or frozen, prioritize taking out snipers and stalkers, and then burn down the champions. Try to take some ammo for boss, you'll definitely need it. I believe there are 4 snipers here, 2 orange bars, 2 red. Just call out as you kill them and your team should be fine. Finally, the big one. The Fanatic himself, the bane of Mindbender's farms in the past, and the big blocker for this GM. tons of adds and AoE damage, lots of immune phases, and no safe cover. It's a difficult arena. While this boss does seem like constant chaos at first, when you break it down, it actually does work in pretty distinct phases. Huge thanks to my friend and clanmate Eli for helping us break this one down. Most of this boss is damage gated, so we're going to separate this into 3 distinct phases. Phases 1 and 2 are pretty similar, some tweaks. But first, adds will spawn on the right side, then with a little more damage to the boss, adds will spawn on the left. On our runs, we honestly opted to just burn the boss down entirely from the back of the arena and use the super right away for cleanup. Adds will spawn on both sides, but the super should be able to take care of them pretty easily. If you do want to play more safely and more calculated, damage the boss a little bit, use that side of the arena as cover, damage the boss some more, clear the next wave. Once the boss takes enough damage and leaves, 2 consecutive add waves spawn in the back of the room. This is a great time to use a couple more supers, one at a time. Clear the adds fast, lay down grenades and turrets everywhere, and play really smart around cover. The second wave here has a single champion and overload the first time. If you want to play very safe, you can keep him stunned or frozen and just let everybody build super passively until you decide to kill him. Once you're all charged up, kill the champion and the next phase starts right away. Phase 2 mostly follows the same pattern, but flips the arena spawn order, adds more Ravagers, introduces the boss's tether mechanic, and replaces the overload at the end with an unstoppable. For each of the 2 add phases, the boss will tether your team. When the tether's starting, make sure to hold backwards. Teleport carries your momentum, so if you hold backwards, you'll barely move. But if you're holding forwards, you'll just zoom right at his face and get killed by the stomp. Use your heavy or anything you've got to pop his shield as soon as possible. Alternatively, popping a super will actually escape the tether instantly, allowing you to clear some adds at the same time. This can be especially helpful because adds will be shooting at you while you're tethered, and you can die from this. The final 2 waves of adds after the boss leaves can be tough, so be prepared and don't hesitate to use supers if you need to. Finally, phase 3. Time to finish this guy off. Watch the enemy spawn order, melt them down between tethers, keep clearing those adds, and after both tethers go off, you can focus on melting the boss. Don't get too reckless, a big add wave spawns after the second tether right away, but the boss will never go immune again, so you can just melt him down. Once he's down, teabag his corpse, and congrats, you've beaten one of the most difficult GMs to date. If this guide helped you get it clear, let me know. Subscribing to the channel and following on Twitch is always massively appreciated too. Good luck out there, get that title done, I'll see you next week.